What's up, family? So let's talk about what's really going on in the WNBA right now because I'm tired of watching folks act like we don't see the nonsense happening on the court. And I mean, from the refs, the league office, and the entire officiating structure down. So Cheryl Reeve didn't just have a meltdown, she exposed the truth. And whether you like her delivery or not, she said what needed to be said. And you got one of the best players in the league getting hacked, bruised, pushed, and pulled, shoulder darn near dislocated, and somehow she finishes the game with 5 fouls and 0 free throws. Zero. Donut. That's not just bad officiating, that's just malpractice. And instead of the league holding the refs accountable, they doubled down by assigning these same crews to semifinal playoff games. Like the message is, we don't care. And if you're a real hoop fan, you know how dangerous that is for the game. But don't just take my word for it. Let's check out what Cheryl Reeve had to say, keeping it blunt, straightforward, and honest.
This is the look that our league wants for some reason. Um, we were trying to play through it. We tried not to make excuses. One of the best players in the league shot 0 free throws. 0. And she had 5 fouls. 0 free throws. Got her shoulder pulled out and finished the game with her leg being taken out and probably has a fracture. And so if this is what our league wants, okay. But I want to call for a change of leadership at the league level when it comes to officiating. It's bad for the game. The officiating crew that we had tonight, for the leadership to deem those three people semifinals playoff worthy is fucking malpractice. I can take an L with the best of them. I don't think we should have to play through more than what they did. We got players, Masha's on the glass and gets fucking cracked, and there's no call. And all of them said, it wasn't my call. I don't know. I didn't have that. I didn't see it that way. They're fucking awful.
She fed up. She got the profanity going. She got the sailor mouth going on. But look, man. See, people always say, play through it. Don't make excuses. But this ain't about excuses. It's about fairness, player safety, and the integrity of the competition. And if I can't trust that the calls are going both ways, that the refs are at least trying to be objective, then what are we doing here? Because this ain't just missed calls. It's a pattern. It's a pattern of players getting injured, players getting swallowed, and refs acting like they didn't see a 6'4" player get clipped midair. Like, what are we watching here? WWE SmackDown? So, like, is this WrestleMania? So, this is the incident. And I have to mute the audio due to copyright purposes. But Minnesota finished game 3 without Napheesa Collier or Coach Cheryl Reeve because we know that she got it. You know, she assessed a second technical foul and got ejected. And Collier collided with Alyssa Thomas on this play. Check it out. Ball gets inbounded. That's wild. So when you look at the situation, and that was Alyssa Thomas, Cheryl Reeve going off on the ref. This when she went haywire, going up to bat for her team, and letting it be known like this how you know she care about her players. Now how she went about it, obviously wild, you know, like she literally wanted to fight the refs. But I respect the coach that defend their players, but more in a more professional fashion. But you can see just how fed up coaches are. And I've been saying this over and over about these referees, man. These referees can't seem to see a pebble drop on the floor, let alone a call when it comes to a foul. Like they just oblivious to it. Like they can't see what we see. And no matter how injured or how hurt or how detrimental these plays come to a player potentially having a look, bumped right in her knee, ran into her, twist her whole ankle. But see, they don't seem to see it that way. They seem to see, oh, the ball got stolen. We didn't see it that from that angle. Literally rammed her over, hip checked her, and then ran after the ball, and then just straight up just kept it pushing. When as soon as she fell on the floor and how things were going, it should have been automatic. The whistle should have been blown, play over. No matter how many players get injured, no matter how threatening career or I should say career threatening injuries take place, they seem to be like, well, we didn't see it, right? We didn't see it, and it's a shame. It's a shame. And this was Cheryl Reeve getting ejected, still going haywire, and even told the referees, "F you." She was going wild. She had enough. And it's like the referees see this as a joke. I mean, I know us as fans and supporters, we joke and say the refs are trash or the zebras is wilding. But when players are leaving the court in tears with fractures, concussions, it's not funny no more. You know what I'm saying? Feet crying on the bench ain't part of the entertainment. That's a top tier talent getting robbed of her chance to compete at the highest level because the league refuses to protect the stars. And let's be real, this isn't just a Lynx problem. The Indiana Fever been going through this all season. 7 players hurt. That's not normal. That's not just bad luck. That's a systemic issue. And this is what happens when you let the game turn into WrestleMania without any consequences. You letting bodies fly, calling it physical playoff basketball, but you really just not doing your job. I don't expect refs to be perfect. Nobody does. But the standard is basic competence. Like at least try to be consistent. And the worst part is when you get those bogus no calls and the refs respond with, "Oh, I didn't see it," or that wasn't my call. You're standing there as a referee. You're standing there. You got 3 officials on the court for a reason. Nobody saw a player get elbowed or a knee taken out, right? It's like officiating with your eyes closed. Oh, what do you see? Oh, I can't see because my eyes are covered. Like, well, what are we talking about? Right? It's like they blindfolded without being blindfolded. You cannot possibly care about your job, let alone the players, which is your job to actually ensure safety for the players. Do you know that these players are basically competing in a form of entertainment because it's still entertainment, but also in translation, it also trickles down to your job to even be a referee because if they're not on the court, what we need a referee for? Now, when Cheryl Reeve went off, yes, it got heated. Yes, there was some pushing of hands and some yelling at security. I get it. And no, you can't touch nobody. That's facts. But let's not act like this was an emotional coach out of control. Because referees could try to paint it that way, running into the Victim Olympics saying, "Oh, I don't know why she acted this way." She was fighting for her team, for her players, and for the integrity of the game. And when the leadership at the top fails to check this nonsense, it creates a culture where players get hurt, teams lose unfairly, and fans check out. And trust me, when you lose the trust of the fans, it's over. And let's kill the narrative that she's just blaming the refs because they lost. She said to herself, she can take a L with the greats. She can lose with the bigs, the top competitors. But she shouldn't have to play against 2 teams, the opponent and the referees. Right? Let's be clear. The Mercury are a great team. Nobody's knocking that. But if the Minnesota Lynx don't have Napheesa Collier, it's a wrap. And that's not because the Mercury outclassed them. It's because of a dirty play. Alyssa Thomas did a dirty play, basically trying to take that woman out, and officiating helped shorten the bench and push one of the league's biggest stars to the edge. So all that just play harder narrative when the playing field ain't even leveled, I'm not hearing it. These are professionals. They deserve professional officiating, period. And if the league wants to grow, they want people to invest, buy tickets, and watch these games, then you better protect the product. You're nothing without the product, and you're not bigger than the program. Consumers always control the market. It's just basic economics, right? The world spins by consumers spending money. If consumers spend money, it translates to the success, let alone calculates, or it plays a part in being able to measure the success on how great a business is doing based on their profit margins. Now, if they have good profit margins, that means they're getting a good return on their investment or a return on their product. So, for example, and if I sell something for $100, if I sell something for $100, no, if I sell something for $90 and you give me 100, what's left over? 10, right? So my profit margin is 10%. But that can increase based off of tickets, based off of people investing and wanting to watch the games. And that's the product. The product is the players. There's no referees without the players. There's no butts in seats without the players. There's no point of even having a basketball floor without players running up and down the floor, but also having a fair, competitive, safe, competitive game that's entertaining, that's connecting with the fans, right? The WNBA better stop playing. How you going to build rivalries, build storylines, talk legacy and greatness when your stars in the locker room getting MRIs every other week? And this is how you destroy the momentum. You can't build a legacy on a foundation of injuries and inconsistent officiating. You want the W to level up? Cool. Raise the standards then. You can't have employees working at your corporation, but then you don't want to have workplace safety rules in place. And once people disagree with each other, or once people feel like they want to be spiteful to each other, or foul things take place, you don't feel like you should protect your employees while they can keep smashing each other heads in, and that's supposed to make the company a success. Raise the standards. That means better referees, better oversight, and real accountability when these games are being dictated by people who clearly aren't qualified to be on that court. It's just love for the game, in my opinion. I love basketball as a whole. So you can't grow something while ignoring the roots. The players have been showing up, and it's time the league shows up for them. It's just that simple. I don't know why people make things complicated. You know why I believe though? Because they don't really want to fix the problem. They'll rather masquerade the problem in some type of makeup type of ideology that actually justifies why the problem is the way it is, but don't actually fix the problem. Because the reality is, Kathy Engelbert, the WNBA, it seems to think that drama fulfilled, injury, career ending, MRIs every other week is a way of entertainment. I'm sure if these players wanted to go into service or wanted to go to battle, they'll go into the fields of their careers that actually resort into going to battle, or they'll sign up for WrestleMania. So you're misleading as in regards of the product, because you're actually destroying your product by it not being what it's supposed to be. It's just common sense. You can't lead with ideology on what you think it's supposed to be when the reality is the standard is, when it comes to basketball, because basketball has existed for years on it knowing what it's supposed to be. And we have a whole nother league, which is the NBA, which is the men's league, who obviously sets the standard in leading how basketball is actually supposed to operate. So it's not like we can't see another side of the spectrum of good officiating basketball. Why this is just straight up ignorance. So what I'm saying is, clearly leadership has a different vision of what basketball is supposed to be than what it actually is, which is destroying the product and making people divest from the game. And then they wonder why they're always in the negative. So if this league keep going in debt, all them NBA owners that continue to be the lifeline for this WNBA and wonder why it cannot thrive, look at the big leaders that run in this franchise. Like Cheryl Reeve said, I don't know why they want to have this type of leadership to operate this way and this type of motto and sell this to fans and young women who want to be basketball players. I'm sure they want to be basketball players, but they don't want to be having MRIs every other week. Let me know what you guys think. I'm going to leave it there. Hope you guys enjoyed this video and got some value from it. At the end of the day, misleading only leads to a form of deception. And when deception takes place, truth cannot settle. So if you don't have truth in how you present and have a effective presentation of who you are or what you represent, because I was always taught in private school, going to a private high school, that you are a representation of the establishment. If these WNBA players and these coaches do not represent this destructive WWE, WrestleMania, WNBA league, then how contradicting that is to the belief of whatever these the WNBA Kathy Engelbert, the commissioner, believes. If they're contradicting, if they're against or they disagree with the WNBA franchise commissioner, Kathy Engelbert, and how she's operating this league, then how does it show how in sync you guys are when it comes to actually representing the league as a whole? It's chaos in its form, in its purest form. And you cannot be representing something that is chaotic, because then that means that you don't know what you're representing. So that means whatever you think you're representing, you can actually fall for anything because you don't stand for nothing, because you don't even know what you're standing for, because there's not being properly or appropriately represented in the first place, which is misleading. Then what happens is business and just you being an honest person and doing the right thing will take you a long way to thrive. But if you continue to act like you want to ride the fence and sit there and deceive in 1 minute and sit there and be truthful in another, at the end of the day, nobody will turn your way and you'll just be in your own island, wonder why you're isolated, sitting there misleading and just being you're just leading to self-destruction. It's all meant to tear down instead of build up. Even yourself, when you misrepresent yourself, a corporation, or anything. That's why accountability needs to take place. And this league needs accountability. I don't know who needs to do it. I don't need who need to oversee this commissioner of the WNBA. Somebody oversees somebody in the chain of command. I don't know if they need to make and I know I'm going on this whole rant, but it's just the truth. I don't know if they need to make a list full of players and celebrities and all people backing them up on how wild this league is getting, but it's starting to look like prison ball. And I'm just being honest. Catch you next one. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Peace.